Welcome to the banks of the Allegheny. Highmark Stadium, a battle between the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Charleston Battery. Should be a good match with Pittsburgh having an opportunity at home with 3 points to get into the playoff picture. Bruce Silverman along with Chris Nurse and Nursey. Nice night to play a little football.
Yeah, it's a fantastic night. It's going to be a fantastic game also. Charleston have been the team to beat so far.
And for Charleston, the man off the bench tonight, Guerra.
Yeah, Guerra is fantastic to see him doing well for his national team and at club level, one of the few players on the pitch to have played against one of the greatest players in the world in Lionel Messi when Trinidad faced against Argentina back in 2014.
He had a turn with that TNT club, and he will be on the bench tonight with the ability to come off and give a spark to this club. And for Pittsburgh, a guy that you know very, very well, and that is Corey Herzog.
Yeah, Corey is one of the best players in the league. He has fantastic feet, a real-life goal, fox in the box, and a great finish. And he's enjoying life right now. He's recently had a kid. He's scoring goals. You can see by the big smile on his face that he's enjoying football and he's enjoying life right now. So, you know, be looking for a big performance again tonight from Herzog.
Herzog could be the man with 6 goals to propel Pittsburgh into the playoff picture. They're currently in 11th, but a win tonight would move them into 8th, and that would be a good situation for Dave Brandt and his club. Take a look at the lineups this evening for the visitors. Tampico gets the turn in goal tonight. Garbanzo and Hackshaw will be up top. I love that name, Garbanzo, because you know the garbanzo bean, right?
Yeah, the garbanzo beans, but you know,
make yourself some hummus.
Charleston are missing their big forward today, Romario Williams, who will be playing tonight for the Reggae Boys Jamaica when they face off against USA in the Gold Cup final.
And you're repping the Reggae Boys tonight,
I'm repping
right?
for the Reggae Boys tonight, repping for the Caribbean region.
It's a Caribbean thing. For the Hounds, Broom is in the pipes. Walsh will join Herzog up top, and it will be an opportunity for this team that is very defensive-minded to keep Charleston off the board and put the pressure on.
Yeah, we've spoken about how dangerous Corey Herzog is going to be in the forward line, but it's just as interesting at the back. We can see that Galega Bosumonde is missing from the back line, which talks about how strong they're being at the moment, and they actually have one of the best goals conceded against records in the league despite their place right now.
And the boss man is available in uniform tonight. When we come back, we will have the first half between the Riverhounds and the Battery. Stay with us.
You could spend lots of time searching lots of used car websites, or just visit Cochran.com to see lots and lots of vehicles.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Can you hear me? Yeah. How many times have you done it before? You good? Yeah. Okay. You got 50 seconds. You have to stay here for a little bit. Hold for that. Yeah.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a sports medicine specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Stay low, stay low, change of speed, explode, explode, trust it. Very nice, very nice.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with an orthopedic specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
With hundreds and hundreds of pre-owned vehicles for every budget, Number One Cochran is the one and only place you need to shop.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com
It's a
now.
draw.
Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
Welcome back. Jamal Jack. Wearing number 20, he'll be in that middle defense for the Hounds tonight. And you see in white, there it is, Mr. Bean. Ricky Garbanzo. The referee for tonight is Charles Murphy. He'll be the man with the Barbasol. And like we said, at home, and they're unbeaten in their last 3, is Pittsburgh, and he is repping the Reggae Boys right there. With a win tonight, Pittsburgh, despite that record that you see right there, will find themselves right in the middle of the playoff picture in 8th place. So in the yellow with the black trim and the black shorts will be the Hounds, the traditional color of Pittsburgh professional sports, and in the white and black will be the Charleston Battery.
There we get a good view of Siobhan Walsh there with his reggae band sweatband on, representing for Jamaica this evening. But first of all, he needs to represent for his team this afternoon and try to propel Pittsburgh to that win against Charleston.
And you see that name right there, Chevy. That's all right. Michael Chang. And he's ready to go as well. So just about to get underway, and we are officially underway in this USL matchup between the number 1 team in the East and the number 11 team in the East.
Yeah, despite Pittsburgh not having too many wins in their recent form, a win tonight could push them up just outside of the playoff places. So they'll be looking for a big performance tonight, heading into the business end of the season where it's all about the points.
And a little give and go. Up top action to start us off as Pittsburgh was trying to make a push into that final third. It's cleared away. Pittsburgh will have a throw deep in that end. And it will be Herzog who will lay it off.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Herzog actually possesses a pretty long throw that can be a very good attacking weapon in the final third, and it'll be interesting to see if he takes a lot of throws tonight for Pittsburgh.
Centered in, nobody home for Pittsburgh, and that's going to get cleared out. Ball will stay in this end. It was Washington who took the throw when Herzog left it behind. Gomez this time around, and that's given up a little too easy if you're Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Chevy just needs to keep a hold of that ball, keep his team in possession. He's tried to play it first time around the corner there. May have been better to just take a touch and keep the team in possession for Pittsburgh there.
Ball bouncing around, a lot of activity before it's headed backwards, and Charleston will pick this ball up. Little one-touch passes trying to send it forward, but it will be Pittsburgh resetting everything, going backwards to Broom.
Yeah, it's going to be a very even matchup in the game. Both teams lined up in a 4-4-2. So expect a lot of the possession to be through the middle, a lot of the attacks to come from out wide, and possibly the team who's better at winning the second balls and the knockdowns could be more successful this evening.
Ball has spent a lot of time in the air. And still nobody has really settled it down, gone station to station with one-touch passes. Another blast into the middle. And it's won by the Battery. Ridden off the ball nicely. Chevy with the ball at his feet doing some fancy dribbling. And then giving up in the middle of the pitch. Charleston now on the attack, and they lose the handle.
Yeah, both teams now just turning over possession a little too easy. Both teams just need to calm down, pass to the nearest teammate, keep it simple, start to get a foothold on the game.
Less than 3 minutes in, frantic play. Don't think that either one of these teams can keep up this type of activity. Sent forward, Herzog gets into the mix. Kerr. Sent out wide. The ball will get back to Kevin Kerr.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of space out wide right now. If Pittsburgh can move that ball a little bit quicker and try to exploit the width, they have a good chance to get crosses into the box and create goal-scoring opportunities. But they have to move that ball just a little bit quicker than they are right now.
They are in possession of the ball, longest possession we've had early in this game, and that's way off the mark and from basically Philadelphia, not from Pittsburgh. That ball was taken from long distance.
Here, second night of the age, and
so Battery will now build from the back, and Pittsburgh not giving them a lot of space to move forward at this point.
Yeah, Pittsburgh setting a pretty high line. You can see them trying to win the ball back high up the field to create scoring opportunities as the ball turns over. But Charleston doing a good job of keeping possession and playing out from the back right now and not taking too many risks.
And that ball will have to settle down for Charleston again. Portillo trying to decide which way he wants to go. And he gets it back. Has the option of going forward to Chang, and he goes backwards to Miles Robinson, who is in Charleston and in a uniform by way of Atlanta United.
It's very early in the game right now, but you're really looking for that player in the team who can make the difference, pick the ball up at feet, turn in the holes and play forward. At the moment we're seeing, sideways passes, backways pass, and then eventually a longer pass. You want to see that player who's able to come into the middle, pick up the ball on the half turn and play quality passes forward in between the defenders. And that's what we'll be looking for over the next 10 to 15 minutes in this half to see which team has the chance to take the first goal.
Woodbine was the man who was intended on that long pass coming all the way up from that left fullback position. Solto. And that pass a little bit behind Parks, but he'll pick it up. Picks up a defender to boot. Has to work backwards. Solto to Parks and then out wide. Pittsburgh will switch sides. Just handled by Gomez. He'll center. That's headed away momentarily, and a big blast from distance into the stands. Right idea, just off the mark by Parks.
Yeah, that's a fantastic effort there. Pittsburgh have managed to have a couple of shots right now. None have really made the keeper work right now, but they're building up possession, keeping possession in the final third, and creating chances at the end of it. Now what they've got to do is try to make the keeper work with some positive final product in the final third.
And that's going to be headed all the way back to Broom. And he'll send everybody forward. Strong right foot. Ball spending a lot of time in the air before Charleston finally finds it at their feet. Chang went forward. Unforced error to Gomez. And now Parks will move forward. Battling with Hackshaw. Inside the box, trying to knock it in. Nice idea to try to lob it in by Herzog. He finds the post.
And there you see that forward instinct from Herzog. Not everybody has that ability to play the ball out of the air like that, control it, and have the instinct to try and lob the keeper with their weaker foot from that kind of distance. And that's Corey's natural ability. Fantastic first touch, and he just tries to lift it over the keeper there. And it's a couple inches short of being a fantastic goal, but that speaks volumes of his ability.
So Herzog with the first shot on frame here this evening. Advantage Pittsburgh. They send it forward before Anunga gets it to his feet.
And we have to mention, despite Pittsburgh not winning too many in the run-up to this game, their goalkeeper's performance have been pretty stellar.
Well, the 7 draws they've had on the season to go with the 7 losses, but the 7 draws did keep them in the hunt despite the fact that they only have 5 wins to date. Ball comes into the box, and that will be cleared off by that back line of Pittsburgh. Corner coming up.
And we know that the keepers at Pittsburgh are obviously coached by ex-US professional Hunter Freeman, who was a very, very, very good keeper in his time. I'm sure he's passed
Hunter
it on.
Gilstrap?
Hunter Gilstrap. Don't ask me why I said Freeman. Hunter Gilstrap, who was actually an old teammate of mine. He won't be happy about that. But I'm sure he's using his experience in his playing days to really pass it all on to these goalkeepers and give them a good chance of progressing in the future.
So Justin Portilla and his right foot will get us started from this corner. Not a lot of white uniforms inside the 6 to start this one up. Driven in and then headed away. Griffith, he'll have to go backwards. Anunga got it back to him, and then this ball is going to stay in the pitch. Charleston still in possession of this ball. Chang lays it off for Hackshaw. Will that earn Charleston a corner? Yes, it does.
Clever play there from Hackshaw. He knew he was going into the corner. There wasn't much that he could do with the ball, so just
correction on that. It's Skylar Thomas.
Played it off the defender to win a corner for his team.
So Portilla should be over there to do this one again, and he is. Portillo drove it the last time. Does the same thing this time. Back at a net. And that is the way that you take a corner kick, folks.
Yeah, you really have to look at that delivery here that creates this opportunity. A fantastic in-swinging corner into the dangerous area. Well-timed run. Get something on the end of it, and the keeper really has no chance in that situation.
Miles Robinson. And the folks in Atlanta are going to be happy about that one. Take another look.
Whipped into that dangerous near post area.
Charleston Battery goal.
Coaches are always telling you, miss the first man, whip into near post area.
Miles Robinson.
They've obviously practiced their runs, and he's arrived there perfectly on time to put that into the back of the net.
If you're going to drive a corner kick, you want somebody running in, trying to drive it into the back of the net. That's exactly what happened here in the 11th minute. Charleston up 1-0 on the home club.
It's important here for Pittsburgh not to lose momentum. You know, they've started the game very well. There's still a lot of time left to play. They're at home. They just have to regroup for 5 minutes and start again here.
And you also have to give a lot of credit for that goal to Skylar Thomas for earning that corner that set up the kick and the goal.
Yeah, he had run into the corner. He realized that he didn't have many options. Instead of giving away possession, he flicked it off the defender to earn his team the corner. And as a result of that, they managed to score the goal. So, you know, a smart, intelligent play for him.
And this game has not lost the pace that it started at. We're already in the 12th minute, but in the 12th minute, this has been end-to-end soccer. There hasn't been a lot of build-up. It's just basically run one side, run the other. It'll be very difficult for either of these teams, let alone both of these teams, to try to keep up this type of pace.
Yeah, it's been a little bit difficult. You can see the surface obviously makes it a little bit difficult, but the team has been doing the best at winning the second balls, has been creating the chances, and that's where a lot of the opportunities have come from so far in this game, besides the set piece, has been the team winning the second balls as the ball drops down.
Broom will kick this one away. 50-50-50, and the advantage goes to Herzog as he was taking on two men in white jerseys.
Yeah, Corey, not the biggest player, but he knows how to use his strength well. He knows how to use his attributes to win the free kick. Despite he knew he wasn't going to win it, he knew how to get his body across where the defender had an option but to foul him.
Kerr, the buildup will come from behind. Long distance pass stolen away by the Battery. And then they'll send it forward quickly. Be interesting to see what this call is, and everybody will move forward as Broom will kick it away. It was Garbanzo on the all-out sprint to try to catch up with that one.
Yeah, I think if it hadn't have gone out for a goal kick, I think the referee may have to have called it back for a foul anyhow. You see Garbanzo put his hand into the back of the defender as he goes up for the header. which made him unable to win it. So I think Pittsburgh ball was the right call in the end.
That was not quite a head. That was actually off the back. Don't see that very often. Ball high in the air and the jump, and instead of playing it off your head, you actually play it off of the back of your shoulder. Woodbine, long distance throw, found a Pittsburgh player, and that was not what he intended to do. Wally will let this one roll out, and Broom will kick it away again. Broom taking his time and sending everybody in gold and black up forward. Charleston finally settles the ball down.
Charleston will be happy to have taken the lead in this game, especially considering they're missing their top scorer, Romario Williams. The fact that they can still manage to score goals and to take the lead away from home, which is always very difficult when you're away from home to take the lead, proves that they're in the top of the league for a reason. You know, it's not just by accident. They're actually a good side who are going to try to push all the way for the championship this season.
Another sprint forward by Charleston, and good job of that Pittsburgh defense to get it into the hands of Broom. And don't forget now, you got Charleston who up 1-0, and the player that we wanted to look at to start this match, Guerra, is on the bench. So fresh legs if and when Anauer wants to bring him in.
Yeah, and Guerra, you know, he brings an attacking dimension to the team, and it'll be interesting to see if the coach tries to defend this lead and get away from Pittsburgh with the 3 points, or if they go for more goals later on in the game, depending on how things plan out.
So if you're Pittsburgh, they've done a good job. They haven't kind of rested at all. They haven't taken that goal that they gave up really to heart. They're still pushing forward, but they're not getting to that final third, with the exception of that one lob that Herzog tried to get over Tambikas. If you're Pittsburgh, what kind of adjustments are you going to make for the next 30 minutes?
In the first 15 minutes, we've obviously seen Herzog once so far with the fantastic opportunity he had, but that's who they need to get the ball to. They need to get the ball to Corey in positions where he can make things happen in the final third. They need to get the ball to his feet. They need to get the ball in behind where he can create scoring opportunities. Right now, they've struggled to get him the ball as much as they would have liked, but that's where their success is going to come from.
Adewale, right foot, sends it forward into the 18, headed out. Pittsburgh comes up with it. Solto, Gomez, now Kerr. Adewale back to Kerr, and Kerr will send it forward, looking for Herzog at his feet. Picks up two defenders. Gomez does a good job of using his body to stay on the ball. Solto, forward, Herzog, Kerr. Now Pittsburgh with the most concerted effort they've had on the evening. They get it into that final third and then give it up, and here comes Charleston with the exception of that errant pass, so Pittsburgh will be back on the ball. Gomez, Solto, now Kerr. Flag up.
I think Pittsburgh can be a little more aggressive in attack here. We saw Gomez pick up the ball, and he could have turned and gone one-on-one with the defender. Instead, he's opted to play backwards instead of taking the defender on, being attacking, being aggressive, and trying to create scoring opportunities. I think that's where Pittsburgh could possibly exploit this game a little more by encouraging their wide players to get in one-on-one situations and take on defenders and try to get the ball into the box.
Foul was actually on Charleston. That's what stopped play. Kerr Mueller. Now Kerr, and he sends it into the box. cleared out momentarily by the Battery.
That was a good ball into the box from Kerr, but you can see Charleston have a lot of numbers back in the box to deal with that cross. There's almost 9 players back in the box to deal with that cross, which make it very difficult for Pittsburgh to win that.
Well, it's also a low percentage pass when you're passing the ball into that many people of both jerseys. Adewale battling with Hackshaw and finally sent to the middle of the pitch. Herzog almost had an opportunity to pick up a loose ball and be off for the races, but it was a nice job by Charleston to send it forward.
Yeah, Herzog has had a fairly bright start. You know, he's made some good runs into the channel, some nice touches. That effort they had on goal, that was unlucky to not to have scored. But they really need to get him into the dangerous positions where he can put the ball into the back of the net right now.
Adewale had to go back to Broom before it was sent forward. Okai. Kerr. Kerr will switch sides. Pittsburgh trying to be patient to get it forward. Adewale. Jack. Now Soto. Okay, and here comes the pressure by Pittsburgh, and Chris, that long distance pass has to be sent all the way back.
Yeah, Pittsburgh actually have a lot of space out wide on the left-hand side. If they can get the ball out there, the winger's in a lot of space on his own. It's just they're not managing to get the ball out to him right now.
PA Lottery Power Pick of the Week.
All right, so we've got a corner coming up. It will be Romeo Parks and his right foot, so this will swing towards Tampikas with an opportunity for Pittsburgh to even this match in the 21st minute.
Again, we have a right-footed in-swinging corner.
Oh, back of the net! Look at that, folks. Soto, 1-1, 21st minute.
And if you find Soto, when you see the replay, he's standing at the back post all alone, nobody marking him. We've seen one goal scored from an in-swinging corner into the near post. This one scored from an in-swinging corner to the far post. Over everybody, there's nobody even close to Soto, not even a defender anywhere near him.
Nice job of Soto to pick it up almost on like a half volley.
Yeah, that's not a very easy finish at all. He's done very well to hit that on the half volley when the ball's spinning, curling him to at that speed. He's got it on target and it's in the back of the net. It's tied up the game, 1-1.
Big corner in both goals in this match. Scored on corners tonight at the 11-minute mark. It was Miles Robinson. And then 10 minutes later, the equalizer for Pittsburgh. Soto off of Romeo Parks. Beautiful, beautiful feed in.
Yeah, set pieces have been big in this game so far. 2 goals scored from 2 corners.
And right back on the attack. Chipping it forward. Just couldn't find Corey Herzog.
Charleston will be devastated to concede a goal in that fashion, though. You never, ever leave players unmarked in the box, especially some of the set pieces. One of the first things you do, there's always a player close to somebody, and Soto right there is completely on his own. They've given up a very easy goal there.
It didn't even look like Soto cheated in to come back. It seemed like he was just standing at the end of the 6, just waiting for that ball from Parks.
Yeah, but take no mistake away from the finish. It's a fantastic finish. Half volley.
No, incredible. Very difficult ball to actually handle at all, let alone put it on frame. Not only did he put it on frame, there was a little bit of bend to it from left to right. There was absolutely nothing that Tampikas was going to do about that. Herzog back on the ball. Pittsburgh with a little extra oomph in their step right now as Kerr will switch sides on it.
And that's the space on the left side that we were talking about. If he can be aggressive now, he's in a one-on-one situation, get that ball into the box and give the forward something to do.
Parks was trying to send it forward. Anunga got in front of it. And Pittsburgh back on the ball. There's your goal scorer right there. Adewale. That's just a little too heavy for Solto. Garbanzo gets tangled up with Jamal Jack. Jack and Mr. Bean.
Yeah. Jack's a big guy. I'm sure he'll shake that off. Garbanzo just gets his body across him as he tries to accelerate and go past him and draws the free kick. I'm sure he'll be fine for the remainder of this game.
It will leave a mark. But it will be Broom who will kick it away. Strong right leg as he sends it well down the pitch.
Yeah, those aerial battles will be difficult for Herzog to win. But his partner, Siobhan Walsh, is a big guy up there. If they can redirect those longer passes towards Walsh, I'm sure he'll be able to do a better job of holding it up and keeping his team in possession in the final third.
He's been a little quiet tonight, has been Chevy Walsh.
Yeah, it's early in the first half. I'm sure his moment will come up. Forwards, always often very dangerous and strike when you least expect. They can be quiet and then pop up with a goal. So.
The second time, Chris, I've noticed that the ball has been well down the pitch. Whistle has been blown, and the play has to come back. Are you kind of surprised that referee Murphy is giving up those advantages?
It depends on the call. If there was obviously an earlier foul and the fourth official or the linesman have notified him a little bit late, he has to make the right call and call it back. But he could probably do a little bit of a better job in being a little more efficient in the time.
And there is Charles Murphy. That name got a little bit of a chuckle right before the match started by Chris Nurse. Called out Charlie Murphy, of course, the brother of Eddie Murphy.
Again, if Pittsburgh can look, the space on this left side is wide open to exploit. If he opens his body here, see, that's the problem. The defender there has not opened his body to be able to see the left side of the field, and they keep coming back inside, but the left side, there is a mile of space out there to exploit.
Kerr. Gomez. Back to Kevin Kerr. Now sliding it into the middle. Pittsburgh just trying to find the lane they want to take. Nice move to split the defenders. Solto. Now Kerr. And you see Washington is calling for it. Nobody sees him on that wing.
And I think that's just one of the disadvantages that you see right now in having a right-footed centre half playing on the left side, is that he doesn't necessarily open his body up as much to see the left side of his field as a naturally left-footed player might.
Solto lucky not to pick up a yellow card for that.
Yeah, Anunga's done well there to evade two fairly aggressive tackles. The first one, and then the referee's called back for the second one, but either of those could have been called for a foul.
So he gets a talking to. Probably a warning that if that happens again, he's going to go to his pocket. Woodbine, right foot, into the 18. Nobody in a white jersey anywhere close to that one. And Broom, who's been very active with that right foot between these punts and goal kicks, sends it forward.
Woodbine is another player on view tonight who has represented the Reggae Boys, the Jamaican national team, who, of course, we know will face off against the US tonight in the Gold Cup final. I'm sure he'll be rooting for the Reggae Boys also, despite playing here in the US League.
Solto flicking it into the box. Pittsburgh will give that ball up, and they'll have to go all the way back to Broom as they picked up the loose ball.
Yeah, it's been a fairly even first half so far. Pittsburgh have got more back into the game, more possession since they've got the goal. The goals changed the momentum of the game a little bit. But these areas where they get into one-on-ones, they got to be more aggressive. They got to try and take the defender on and produce crosses into the box if that's what they're going to do by keeping the wingers so far wide.
Kerr sliding it out, getting it back, flicking it on to Washington. Now Herzog Back to Kerr.
Kerr's been very good for Pittsburgh so far. He's the one who's been getting on the ball, playing short passes, longer passes, making things happen. And he's the one who's been taking responsibility for switching play and trying to move Charleston around by keeping the ball moving nice and quick.
Okai, little give and go action. Ball never got back to him. Now Woodbine. Now Charleston trying to take their time keeping it on the ground. Woodbine sliding it down the line. Was playing catch with Hackshaw before they went down the pitch. Looking for Chang. Hackshaw will leave it for Woodbine. Just about 30 minutes gone by in this match. 1-1 in Pittsburgh. We'll take a look at what Woodbine will decide to do with this throw. With an opportunity to get it into the box, and that's exactly where he goes. And it will be Broom's ball.
Yeah, the referee's obviously seen something here, an infringement on the keeper, and he's given a goal kick because it looked like it actually come off the keeper there just before going out of play.
So once again, Broom will keep kicking it away. And now he's directing traffic on where he wants to go. Right foot. Drives this one. A little bit shorter than some of the goal kicks he's had on the night.
Yeah, I think he's just misdirected that one slightly because you could see him waving, calling Chevy for him to give a target to, but he didn't quite manage to drive the ball in his direction. But now we're seeing, again, space on the left.
Kerr, and he'll work that left side, trying to get past Skylar Thomas, and Thomas will give Pittsburgh another corner, same place that they equalized this game about 10 minutes ago. And it will be Parks that will take this one again. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody marks Solto this time around. Victor Solto had the goal at the 21st minute. Parks in swinger. Solto was trying to get on it, and he just couldn't get there.
Yeah, you can see on that corner, Hackshaw had dropped deep to take care of Solto, or be a little bit closer, or a presence to him at least on this corner. So you wonder if the first instance that Hackshaw was actually responsible for Solto and had been caught out not doing his job. I'm sure the manager will want to address it at half-time, but I'm sure they're happy they didn't repeat the same mistake.
You never made that mistake when you played, did you?
Nah, I was good from set pieces.
Oh, set pieces fine, but cards, that was a whole other thing.
One of the only things I was good at set pieces.
Chris Nurse and his self-deprecating sense of humor about his play. He was a pretty nice player. Enjoyed calling your name in games that you played in, and now to have you as a partner is an honor, my friend.
Yeah, it's fantastic that the league are giving players the opportunity to progress their careers after the game.
Some fancy footwork. That shot probably ill-timed by Portillo.
Yeah,
not much on it.
Good build-up play there. Sure, they'd like to get a little bit better connection onto that strike on goal, but made the keeper work. So, you know, they're heading in the right direction.
So that ball movement, and there's Portillo. Probably if he gotten a little bit more on it, maybe a little bit of lift would have been a little bit more difficult for Broom to handle.
Yeah, he probably just wanted to wrap his foot around that into the far corner, but didn't quite get the angle on it to bend it away from the keeper.
Robinson will let it go back to his keeper, who puts his right foot into it. Washington sends it down the pitch. Flag is down. Opportunity just wide. Neville Hackshaw is going to have nightmares about that one. Great opportunity, and they just didn't convert it. And you saw him throw to gum, so you know he's upset.
Yeah, and I think You know, as he approaches, you think he's going to smash it, but he actually goes for a smart decision to try and place it and just roll it into the corner. It's inches wide.
That left foot goes left of the bar, and that results in Broome kicking it away again.
Charleston just having the edge right now with those 2 chances in the past 5 minutes.
You look at the right leg of Broome and wonder maybe he could be a place kicker for the Steelers.
I think a lot of soccer players could transition and be kickers in the NFL. A lot of soccer players do, right?
Absolutely.
Out of college.
Barbasol is out by Charles Murphy. So the right foot of Kerr as Gomez ran away from the ball. Right foot goes into the box, trying to head it into the back of the net. It's cleared out.
Yeah, that was a good delivery into the box. Screaming for somebody to put their head on it and redirect it towards goal. Unfortunately, no one was there, but fantastic delivery. We can see set pieces are going to be dangerous for both teams throughout the whole game.
Nice one-touch passing by Pittsburgh, trying to find a way to go forward.
Kerr's really been influential for Pittsburgh in this first half. We've seen him everywhere. He's popped up on the left. He's popped up at the back. He's popped up on the right. You know, he's been getting on the ball and really making them tick. Very difficult for Charleston to pick up when he's moving around so freely.
Solto was trying to flick it into the box, looking for Chevy. Wasn't able to get it there. I love that name on the back of the kit, Chevy. Woodbine, and he'll put it into the air. So Woodbine will be the man who will throw it in deep in this final third. And the last time he had the ball in his hands, he went into the box. So let's see what O'Brien will do. Once again into the box, high in the air. He gets it back. Pittsburgh will make them chase towards the corner. Everybody will stay where they are. Soccer fans, Nike is the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. And that is actually a throw. Washington flicked it on his head, and then Kerr did the same thing.
Yeah, Charleston doing a good job of keeping the ball alive right now. Dangerous delivery into the box. A good header. He needed to direct it down on target, but that's the third chance that they've had in the past several minutes. So, you know, the pressure's now building on Pittsburgh again. They need to get organized coming into this last third of the game. Make sure they can keep the score at least 1-1 or try to take the lead and ensure that they still have a chance to win this game in the second half.
Broome, another big drive. Bouncing around, and it will be a throw for Pittsburgh. Fans, stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USL.com for dates and times. And Parks will pick that one up just inside the 18. He loses the handle. Charleston will try to make a push. And those long distance passes, not very high percentage.
Yeah, Pittsburgh started to utilize that space on the left-hand side a little bit more. And there we go again. There's the space. Fantastic ball from Kerr. We've talked about being influential in this first half.
Washington trying to get past Thomas. Parks, nobody home on that pass. Gomez did a good job of trying to save it for Pittsburgh, but a little too heavy for Kerr. Not every day that you can watch a soccer match and watch a power boat go by.
Yeah,
that's what we get here in Pittsburgh.
It's a lovely view they have on that side of the field with the water behind there.
Definitely. I love these unique stadiums where you see, great vantage points and sitting on the banks of the Allegheny, and Herzog will give chase but be kicked away by the Charleston keeper. But in the 40th minute, the ball is driven into the box and nothing doing.
Yeah, he's overhit that one. No bend on it, straight into the keeper's hands.
And that is not a surprise to me. 61% of the time, Pittsburgh has had the ball.
Yeah, they're the home team, and they've had the ball. We spoke about early in the game how they had possession, and they had to try and make those chances count. Charleston counter-attacked and managed to make it count off a corner kick, which changed the direction the game was heading in. Pittsburgh then equalized, and have now taken control of the game again in terms of possession. But they need to make this possession count.
If you're Pittsburgh, you're happy the way this game is going. That 50-50 won by Thomas. Mueller will get it back. Chevy was chasing, and that's an unforced error that Pittsburgh might be able to make them pay for. Kerr goes out wide. Chevy into the box, and if that was a little bit heavier, Corey Herzog makes it a 2-1 game.
Yeah, and again, we've spoken about the space that Pittsburgh have on the left side, and they've started to utilize it more in the last 10 minutes, and they created a fair amount of scoring opportunities off the back of it.
It was almost like Chevy wasn't sure what he wanted to do with it, if he wanted to chip it high or he wanted to drive it to Herzog. But it was just kind of a pass that didn't have enough oomph on it to be able to deliver to number 11.
Yeah, it was somewhere in between, but it arrived in a dangerous area where forwards are always attacking in the near post and the far post. You always tell them stay between the two sticks to score goals. A lot of 90% of goals are scored in the box when attackers are in between the two sticks. So as long as he's delivering the ball into that area, the forwards always have a chance to time their runs and create scoring opportunities.
Solto was looking for Gomez. Gomez picks that one up. Kerr back on the right. He'll go into the middle. That sent left. Washington. Thomas in front of him. And that blast just off the mark. The USL is one of the most prominent second divisions in professional leagues around the world. Features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with the latest league news and information by visiting ussoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Garbanzo. And that shot just over the bar, but man, that had a chance.
Yeah, that's fantastic play from Garbanzo. Gets the ball under control, a dipping volley just over the crossbar.
Nice job to get it past both defenders. Find a little bit of a seam to get that shot off, but a little too high.
End-to-end towards in this game. We saw Pittsburgh with some beautiful play just now. The ball came into the midfielder, took a touch and opened up and slung it out to the left side, where we spoke about there being a lot of space out there. Interesting to see which side manages to get the goal to take the lead right now.
By run of play, you would say that it probably favors Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, but if you look for the possession, the Charleston keeper hasn't had to make that many saves.
No, the pressure hasn't been on in that final third. Pittsburgh needs to do a little bit better of a job being more patient when they get into the final third, so that their chances are a little bit more high percentage.
Yeah, they've done fantastic with the possession, but their coach will be frustrated that they managed to have so much possession without working the keeper.
The only real offense we've seen out of Charleston to this point has been on the counter. And you'll see the set piece from right where Chevy gets up. So saves 2 for Pittsburgh. 1 for Charleston, and the Barbasol is out.
Dangerous area here, just approaching half-time. You'd imagine one of these would be looking to get a strike on goal.
So Parks, who's already delivered on one set piece, that was at the 21-minute mark when he found Salto on a beautiful left footer to find the back of the net on the near post, with an opportunity to put his club in the lead. He went right at it.
Yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
That wasn't far away at all. You could see from the reaction of the keeper that he was a little bit worried.
He saw it, he took it, and it just didn't dip. It continued to rise just enough. If he was about, 4 or 5 yards back, that would have found the net.
Yeah, he did well, got up over the wall well, but it just didn't dip as quickly as he would like to get it down into the top corner.
Pace of play, I would say, has slowed down just a little bit. It was pretty frantic for the first 20 minutes, although this has definitely been a match that's been side to side, very much like a tennis match.
Yeah, it's been, despite the possession, it's been a fairly even match. And on the stroke of half-time now, I'm sure the coaches can't wait to get them inside to give them their plan for the second half.
And that is it. No added time for this one. 1-1 after 45 minutes in Pittsburgh. Salto got the equalizer at 21. It was Miles Robinson on a corner at the 11-minute mark. So there is your score. It is 1-1 after 45. We will be back with more.
You could spend lots of time searching lots of used car websites, or just visit Cochran.com to see lots and lots of vehicles.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Can you hear me? Yeah. How many times have you done it before? You good? Yeah. Okay. You got 50 seconds. Yep, just stay here for a little bit. Hold for that. Yeah.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a sports medicine specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Stay low. Stay low. Change of speed. Change of speed. Explode. Explode. Trust it. Very nice. Very nice.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with an orthopedic specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
With hundreds and hundreds of pre-owned vehicles for every budget, Number One Cochran is the one and only place you need to shop.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Welcome back, folks. It is 1-1 in Pittsburgh after 45 minutes. Let's take a look at the halftime stats. Shots on goal, shots even. Shots on target, almost even. Charleston actually with a higher percentage. The possession, 60-40, that's about right. And the only thing that really matters is the score, Chris, 1-1.
Yeah, as we said, Pittsburgh have been good in possession, but their coach will want them to make that possession count with some final product. They've only had 2 shots on target despite dominating 60% of the possession, whereas Charleston have only had 40% and have managed to have 3 shots on target, one more than them. It's something that Pittsburgh want to change in the second half to try and make the keeper work.
Dave Brandt trying to build something here in Pittsburgh. Says he has a 3-step plan. He's on step number 2 right now, and that's is laying the foundation. Step 3 would start to see things growing. When we come back, we will have more in Pittsburgh. 1-1 after 45. Both goals on corner. We'll be back.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
(1-1) in Pittsburgh. Next ESPN game. We're going to tell you about it in just a moment. Well, folks, there it is right there. ESPN 3, OKC Energy versus Reno. And that is going to be on August 2nd at 8:30. When we come back, we'll have highlights and the second half. 1-1 from Pittsburgh.
Of time searching lots of used car websites. Or just visit Cochran.com to see lots and lots of vehicles.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Can you hear me? Yeah. How many times have you done it before? You good? Yeah. Okay. You got 50 seconds. Yep, just stay here for a little bit. Hold for that. Yeah.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a sports medicine specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Stay low, stay low. Change of speed, explode, explode. Trust it. Very nice, very nice.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with an orthopedic specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
With hundreds and hundreds of pre-owned vehicles for every budget, Number One Cochran is the one and only place you need to shop.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Welcome back, folks. 1-1 in Pittsburgh on the banks of the Allegheny. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. And Chris, both teams came out rather frantic.
Yeah, we spoke about that first touch there from Herzog is magnificent. Imagine on a grass surface, the ball would have probably stuck slightly lower, and he would have struck that with his left foot into the back of the net.
And that was in the back of the net at the 11-minute mark. It was Miles Robinson off of the corner.
Yeah, it's a great delivery. He's arrived at the right time. Low into the corner, really gives the keeper no chance.
Nice delivery, nice finish. It's 1-0. But then, 10 minutes later, all alone, Victor Solto.
And you see him just backpedaling away here just before he makes contact with the ball. Nice half volley into the back of the net.
Couldn't do it better if you were using a tennis racket.
But again, the coach is going to be very disappointed with the defending and the marking in that situation.
Couple of chances at the end of this one, and this is one that wasn't too much trouble for Broom.
Yeah, he had the right idea. He would have just liked to wrap his foot around it a little bit more, bend that away from the keeper.
Portillo probably wanted to put a little bit more on that one, and then Garbanzo laying off.
That's the one we spoke about. We didn't know if he was going to smash it. He opted to try and just roll it and place it with his left foot into the corner, inches away from the goal.
Yeah, Neville Hackshaw had the angle. He just didn't take advantage of it. Now Chevy chipping into the box, and it was one of those in-between passes that just didn't make it.
But you see the confusion there. The goalkeeper's coming, the defender's also running back. It makes a lot of disturbance, and they almost got on the score sheet with that.
Garbanzo, a little too high.
He's been working hard for them up top It's a dipping body. Unfortunately, didn't dip just enough to make the keeper work, but he's looked lively for them in the first half.
Upcoming matchups for Charleston. They'll be on the road taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies on Saturday night. Back at home against the Kickers. And then 2 on the road, as you see there, finishing up that 5-game stretch at home against Bethlehem. For the Riverhounds, their upcoming matches, they will be hosting Orlando City on Saturday night, heading north of the border, then hosting New York, then going on the road, taking on the 2 teams with R's in their names, Rochester and Richmond. And that will get you through the month of August. Take a look at the Eastern standings, and the team that you do not see here, well, now you do. Riverhounds sitting with the 23. Actually, Riverhounds have 22. They're in 11th place. A win tonight would put them, with their 20th game, into that 8th position, knocking off the defending champions. Charleston with 36 points, sitting atop the table, 3 better than Charlotte. In the West, Real, 6 better than Swope. And you see Seattle 2 with 23 points, but a logjam there at the bottom in a race to get into the playoffs. Reno, the expansion club, sitting in 5th right now, and San Antonio has come back a little bit. Still only 1 loss on the season, but a whole lot of draws. And you know a few guys that play for San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, missing in those top 10 there, you'd be looking for Cincinnati, and you also be looking for the big club who is the big man.
That's the Western Conference.
The Western, you'd be looking for the big man where Didier Drogba's playing.
Phoenix. I'm digging the music. This is a cool little way to start the second half here in Pittsburgh. Great sports town. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You see the Pirates hat there. You got the Steelers and their championships. The Penguins that have been raising up the cup. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pisces. Did you ever see the movie The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
You never saw that one?
No, I never saw that.
Got to check that one out. Dr. J.
Dr. J, huh?
Dr. J.
Fairly reasonable calls from the referees in the first half. They haven't had that many difficult decisions to make. Done a fairly good job in the first half there, the officials.
Player of the week, Miguel Gonzalez for OKC Energy. 2 goals and an assist in a 4-3 win over the Switchbacks. Republic, man, what a great organization out there. Sellout crowd of 11,500 plus in the Western Conference. That battle between San Antonio and Real.
Yeah, some of the attendances in the league this season have been incredible.
Cincinnati, certainly among them. Great story. And their bid to not only do well here in the USL, but to find themselves in MLS. Charlie Murphy has the ball, and he'll hand it to Mr. Bean. We'll switch sides, and we'll start this one up. It will be the men in white that will be going from the left to the right on your screen. They hail from Charleston, South Carolina. Pittsburgh, in the traditional Pittsburgh colors of black and gold, will be going from the left to the right on your screen. And we're underway in the second half on the banks of the Allegheny. I'm Bruce Silverman, along with my friend Chris Nurse. And Nursey, if you want to take us inside the locker rooms, what were each of the coaches saying to their squads?
I think both teams had a pretty solid first half. I think they'll want to start the second half fairly brightly. Somebody will want to take the goal early and try to really set the tempo for the direction the second half is going to head in. Pittsburgh, being the home team, of course, will want to get the early goal. Of course, want to make a statement in front of their fans and dominate the game. They've dominated possession. Now they need to make the keeper work and make an end product from all that possession they've had so far.
Pittsburgh had the ball 60% of the time in the first half. Each team with a goal, and both of them off of corner kicks. So we'll see what both teams can do in run of play.
Yeah, and I don't think Charleston will be too disappointed in not having possession because they've actually managed to have more shots on target, having less possession, than Pittsburgh, who actually had more possession.
Charleston has done a good job of picking the ball up and running the counter quickly. Just haven't been able to get it past Broom. Broom was certainly active between punting and goal kicks. And you see that ball being sent down quickly. Herzog was unable to locate it. Tambikis.
You know, we've spoken about Herzog a few times, but he's a player who only needs a sniff of goal to be able to create a scoring opportunity. So he's somebody that Charleston can't afford to take their eye off.
And the ball finds his feet. He has to back around it. Gave it off a little too easy.
Yeah, he done well to bring it out of the air there. A little bit careless with the layoff, but you know, he's the man to watch for them.
Play stops because Jamal Jack is on the turf once again. Only 2 players have really found themselves on the turf, and Jamal Jack has been one of them.
He's been there twice, right? Gomez put him there in the first half, and he's found himself then again early in the second half. But he's a big fella. I'm sure he can shake it off. His team needs him out there tonight.
Slow to get up, but he'll walk this one off. You talk about Jack, integral part of this back line that is so effective in keeping the ball out of the net. And Broom, once again, will kick this one away. And I'm telling you, he has got a cannon for a leg.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something that Hunter Gilstrap would have worked on in practice. Kicking is obviously a very important part of the game. And goalkeepers today, they play more as well with their feet. So I'm sure that his footwork and his passing and his distribution is something that they work on intensively in training.
Sending it forward. Finding Washington on the wing. Centers. Chevy was sprinting towards it. It just was a little off the mark, but a great opportunity for Pittsburgh.
What a fantastic ball into the box there from Washington. We spoke in the first half about the space that was out wide, and they found it early again in the second half. He's taken a brilliant first touch. That's laid it off nicely for him just to whip that ball into the box with his second touch. And it's gone straight across the face of goal, screaming for a forward just to tap that into the back of the net.
Missed opportunity by Pittsburgh. Take another look at this ball through the box.
Straight across the face of goal. Any forward driving in there, it's right there for them to tap and put past the keeper.
Tempbakis will send it forward.
I think that delivery may have actually been too good. I think the forward was probably expecting it to be slightly under hit or, you know, slightly driven back. It's gone straight across the face of goal. He'll want that opportunity back a second time for sure.
And Broom will send it into the night. 50-50 won by Charleston, but it is Pittsburgh on the ball. It's Kerr, who has had a really good game. Very active in that middle for Pittsburgh. And you've seen him on the left. You've seen him on the right. You've seen him in the center. He's the guy that's kind of driving this offense.
He's always looking for the ball, and he's very important to the team maintaining possession. You know, he's always giving the defenders, the midfielders, an option to pass the ball simple to. And that's been key to them being up so much in possession in the first half in this game.
Charleston, quick throw by Garbanzo. And that will be another throw coming up. Griffith will be the one throwing it in right now.
We just saw him drying his hands on the turf. Obviously, he's going to try a long throw here.
Trying to get it into the 6. He succeeds, and it's headed away. Stays in play and knocked out momentarily, but right back. Woodbine, and that's knocked away by Pittsburgh. Woodbine with the 50-51. But here comes Pittsburgh. Salto. And that back heel to Kerr sending it forward.
Fantastic, clever little pass there from Kerr.
Another nifty one by Herzog as well. Pittsburgh will build it back up from the back. A little dangerous long-distance pass, and Parks does a good job of staying on it. Griffith with some fancy footwork of his own. And that's off the leg of Parks. Soccer fans, Nike is the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Oh, and that could be dangerous, but it's cleared out. Hackshaw just couldn't catch up with it to put it on frame.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the defending there also from Adewale. I think he could have possibly gone with his opposite foot, with his left foot there, and cleared the ball away rather than going with his right foot and giving the ball away for a corner kick, which have proved set pieces have been very dangerous in this game so far.
All right, so we're going to have another one in swinger. Chang. And that's just off the mark.
Yeah, that was very, very close to being a second goal there. And it was needless, you know. I don't think there was a need to give away a corner in the first place. He could have gone with the other foot, cleared the ball up the field. I think being possibly just slightly lackadaisical in that situation, defenders want to make sure they remain switched on.
You see what's going on inside the box. The effort is high. Mueller was going to that far post, and he just was off the mark. Pittsburgh back on the ball. Solto gives it up way too easy, and here comes the Battery. Woodbine pulls up the brakes, and they'll decide which way they want to go.
I think this game, it needs somebody who has the ability to pick up the ball and drive at players. You know, we're seeing some longer passing. We're seeing Kerr get on the ball a lot, picking it up in midfield, but we've not really seen anybody get on the ball and take people on yet in this game. Run at attackers, run at defenders, suck defenders in, and then free a player, a teammate in space. I think the game's screaming out for somebody with that ability to change the direction it's going in.
A lot of aerial play in this match. Ball has spent a lot of time in the air.
Yeah, once the ball gets into the air, it tends to stay bouncing on the turf. It doesn't settle down as quickly as it might on grass, which is a little bit difficult for the players, but I'm sure they're accustomed to it. And, you know, it's most certainly an advantage for Pittsburgh with this being their home field and, you know, Charleston's home field being grass. But I'm sure it's something that the players have encountered many times this season, many times in their career, and, you know, they're accustomed to the different surfaces they face on different occasions.
Broom with a nice ball to get it to Chevy. He gives it up.
Yeah, he's there for a purpose, and it's got to be to get the ball to him, keep his team in possession. He's got to do a little bit of a better job there.
An opportunity for Chevy to do something, and it didn't even pan out for Pittsburgh as he gave up that ball way too easy, not even a need to really play defense on it. Here comes Kerr, lays it off for Herzog, picks up Thomas, tries to slide it forward to Kerr, and he can't get it there.
Yeah, and you see there, Herzog's way outside of the box and he's out wide. Although he has a good delivery, he's the man who you want scoring goals, and if he's outside making runs outside the box, he's not in the box to finish them. So, you know, you want to try to keep him as central as you can in the box so that anything that drops in and around the box, he's able to get on the end of.
Herzog has 6, and he leads the Riverhounds. Mueller and Charleston now moving forward. Griffith. And a give and go, and Thomas loses the handle, and here comes Herzog. Handball.
Yeah, that's definitely a handball there. Reluctant not to be booked for that.
Herzog having a conversation with Charles Murphy. Definitely wanted it.
Yeah, he kind of reaches his hand out and pulls it back at the same time. A little bit unfortunate, but it's definitely...
And he did, in fact, go to the book.
Yeah, it's definitely obstructing an attack there, and the referee's rightly pulled him back and given him a card.
So Mueller in the book at the 56th minute.
Here we're going to see another dangerous set piece. We saw Washington deliver a fantastic cross earlier with his left foot, and Kerr's been very good with his quality throughout the game with his right foot, so it'll be interesting to see what happens from this set piece here.
Barbasol is down. It's a two-man wall. From this angle, you might be able to go right at it, too, depending upon the space that the wall gives you.
I think the second ball is the dangerous one. You know, they may not score directly from the first, but when it pops out the second, that's the one you have to be careful of.
Well, here is the second one. Parks trying to muscle his way into the 18. Ball still in play, and I'm surprised by that. Flag did go up. Gomez. Another opportunity, and it is a bust as Pittsburgh got on the ball. That yellow card officially in the 57th minute.
Yeah, that was good defending there from Pittsburgh. They were on the counter-attack. The defender managed to get his body across the forward, managed to slow down his run while the teammate got back, helped him out by covering and picking up the loose ball.
You know, one of the things that we talked about, Chris, at the beginning of this game, first 15, 20 minutes was just a very frantic pace. Everybody was running full bore. You see this long ball, flag down.
I think that was a little bit lucky defending there. He's headed the ball, but I don't think he knew where it went at one point there, and was happy to see it fall into the hands of his goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kerr was in an all-out sprint, and it was almost that he outran the ball.
Yeah.
Going back to my thought, you had a frantic pace in the first 15, 20 minutes. We talked that neither team was going to be able to keep up the pace. Here we are almost 60 minutes in. Pace of play is still good, not nearly what it was in the first 20 minutes. And we're also nearly 60 minutes in, and we haven't seen any substitutions yet.
Yeah, I think it'll only be a matter of time now before one team goes to the bench. But neither team are really giving that much away. You know, very tight defending, very cautious in the build-up. Been quite a tentative game so far in the second half.
Very typical game for Pittsburgh. Taking the opportunities when they get it, but playing very good defense. Nice give and go by the Riverhounds. Ball stays in play. No, it does not.
Yeah, they'd be frustrated to see that one go out of play. It's beautiful build-up. A nice one, too. They would have liked to get some end product from that, but fortunately, Charleston ball. But, you know, Pittsburgh are known very well for, you know, being able to tie a game. But I think at home this evening, the way they performed, the possession that they had, they've got to be going after the win, in all fairness.
19 games on the season, 5 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses. Is it tough when you're on a club that actually has more draws than wins?
I mean, a draw is never a bad result, you know. It shows a resilience that you don't really like to lose games. You can do what it takes to hold on to a tie, but you need that clinical finish, that killer instinct in the final third to win a game.
Nice stand-up defense. Will move the ball towards Broom. Flicked in. Pittsburgh is able to clear it out, and this is what they're known for. That errant pass gives the ball right back to Charleston. Possession will stay with Charleston. Griffith.
Yeah, but, you know, they tie a lot of games. They just need some slight tweaking to turn those ties into wins. And I think that's what the team and the management are building on, is that they've shown that they can get the tie. Now can they just slightly tweak what they're doing to be able to turn those ties into wins and turn that 1 point into 3 points?
And that was exactly my conversation with Dave Brandt yesterday. He knows that he's getting in the right direction. And like I said earlier, he has a 3-step plan, and right now he feels he's solidly in second. And that second step is just laying the foundation and digging it deep. The third would be able to get things to grow.
Yep.
You know, almost like how you would grow a tree. First, you put the seed in, you get it in nice and deep, you add water. Herzog can play it at his feet. He earns his team a corner. Excellent job by Herzog. And that is that difference. Quick corner as Herzog gets the ball back, sends it to the near post, back in the net. Wow!
What a goal from Herzog.
Goes to the far post. Herzog, and just like that, the man that Dave Brandt called upon as the man that had to make things happen, finds the far post, comes into the back of the net, and in the 62nd minute, it's Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 1.
Corey is really a player. That's smart play from him. He's taken the corner quickly, caught Charleston out, got himself into the box, and he has that quality in his feet to finish from that distance and from that angle. And that's not an easy distance or an angle to finish off whatsoever.
Well, not only that, this play not only ends with Herzog putting in the back of the net, it starts with Herzog having the soccer IQ to do a very quick start on that corner because Charleston really hadn't set themselves for defense.
Yep, and if you think about it, he's not taking a set piece all evening. He's took the ball upon himself to take the corner quickly, receive it back, get into the box, and he has the quality to score from that kind of angle. We spoke about him. You can't leave him alone. Charleston switched off for a second there, left Herzog unattended. He picks up the ball in the box and puts it into the back of the net. 2-1 to Pittsburgh.
7th goal on the season for the veteran. And now Pittsburgh has an opportunity to pick up 3 points if they continue to do what they're known for, and that's to play defense.
Yeah, and that goal has to spark this game into life because Charleston, there's no way they're going to sit back now. And now they have to chase the game. They have to throw bodies forward. And it's going to be interesting to see if Pittsburgh can pick them apart when they do throw bodies forward and the space begins to open up.
Washington. And there's the type of defense that you don't want to play. Jamal Jack.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that Pittsburgh don't want to take any chances now by trying to overplay out from the back and allowing Charleston back into this game easily. I think they're fortunate to get away with that mistake there. Some lackluster defending, but they really want to make sure for the next 5 minutes that they don't allow Charleston back into this game.
Well, not only that, I think Jack might have been a little lucky not to pick up a foul right outside of the 18.
Yeah, if the referee called a foul, I'm not sure there were too many defenders behind him.
And we're going to have a piece coming up because Thomas and Herzog get tangled up.
Yeah, Herzog has proved to be a very important piece of this Pittsburgh team. You know, he's the one who carries them in the forward line. And he's shown up to be big again tonight. He's been their biggest attacking threat.
At what point does Michael Enauer go to his bench and bring in Guerra since he needs that goal?
I think it won't be long. They're definitely going to throw some attacking options on in this game as the time ticks away.
Oh, it looked like there was a handball inside the box. And right on cue.
Yeah, you see they're about to make 2 substitutions. So, you know, they're not about to sit back. They're looking to get back into this game quickly.
So double substitution coming up, and we'll sort it out for you as the board goes up. All right, so Mr. Bean is out. And so is Hackshaw. So Enauer changing up his front court.
Yeah, Gabanza was lively tonight, but just didn't quite fall for him in that final third. He had a couple of opportunities to score, but he didn't quite make them count tonight.
All right, so Hackshaw checks out, and it is for Guerra, and Cordovs checks in for Hackshaw.
I mean, the substitutions are bound to change the dynamics of the game. You know, we already spoke about Arturo Guerrero and, you know, his international experience that he's had and his effect he's had on this team, and now he's onto this field. His team are 1-0 down, and he's fresh legs coming on with 25 minutes to go. I'm sure he'll have something to say in this game before it finishes.
Portillo. Oh, and right away, the great opportunity for Chang, and he couldn't handle it.
That was a beautiful ball over the top from Portillo into the run of Chang. He needed to control that, and he's free to pick his spot in the back of the net.
Couldn't just lay it down and slow it down so he could get the shot off, and ended up being an easy play for Broom. And Skyler taking the shove on Parks, and Skyler is going to have to watch himself.
That was a big opportunity there for Chang to get his team back into this game. Portillo's put it on a plate from in front of goal. All he had to do was control it and pick his spot. His first touches let him down on that occasion.
I'll tell you, I know even a Chris Nurse would have been able to get a shot on frame.
Maybe.
On something like that, without even picking up a yellow card. When's the last time you scored in a game?
If I have to think about it twice, probably too long ago.
Ball sent forward, another good ball, Cordoves, and he just couldn't hang on. And right away, you're already seeing this new attack from Charleston on the substitutions. Cordoves and Guerra coming in at the same time.
Yeah, and you can see Charleston have now gone offensive. While Pittsburgh don't want to completely drop off and defend for the remaining 25 minutes of this game, they definitely need to get numbers behind the ball when they're not in possession and be tight and compact, and very difficult for Charleston to get in between. Right now they're a little bit open, and you can see runners getting in behind, balls being fed in between the lines. You know, they want to stay a little bit more compact, win the ball back, try to keep possession as they have done in the first half, and continue the performance that they put on so far tonight.
Charleston will have to chase back before they do move forward. And they'll still send the ball back. Throw coming up for Charleston. Charleston trying to hang on to that loose ball, but it is Pittsburgh in a heads-up play that will get them the throw. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with the latest league news and information by visiting ussoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. And Broom will kick that one away. You know, Chris, what's interesting is right now, forget the score for a minute. Pittsburgh currently sitting in 11th on the table. Charleston sitting in first. These two teams have met once before, and it was in Charleston. Pittsburgh gets a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a team that Pittsburgh match up with well, and they have confidence going into this game, knowing that they've beaten this team before. And being back on their home patch now, you know, they obviously carry a little bit of extra confidence. But Charleston have been top of the league for the majority of the season so far. And this game is still 20 minutes to play, still a lot left in it. They're not going to throw in the towel just as yet.
And it was actually Guerra who had the lone goal in that loss for Charleston. Portillo throwing it into the middle, and it will be cleared out. Temperatures in the 70s right now in Pittsburgh.
Again, you're seeing a dangerous ball into the box from out wide. You're seeing Charleston now starting to throw more bodies forward. You see a lot more forward running. The ball's going forward a little bit more directly. It's giving them the momentum right now in attack.
And Charleston playing on borrowed time right now, as it appeared that Mueller had another handball.
And the keeper's doing the right thing now. That, you know, they've been under a little bit of pressure. He's taking his time trying to take the momentum out of Charleston's attacks. But Pittsburgh just need to get a little bit more organized, a little bit more compact and tight.
Broom with another sweeping kick. Mueller found it. Some fancy work by Okai to keep the ball possessed by Pittsburgh. Parks. Oh, and that was another beautiful ball. Just a little too high.
A little too high.
For Corey Herzog. Otherwise, would have been a brace.
Again, there we saw Herzog instrumental in the build-up. The ball comes into him a little higher up the field in midfield. He flicks it around the corner with his right foot, follows the play and arrives in the box, and unlucky not to get it on the end of the cross.
I really like what Romeo Parks can do when he tries to service the ball. We saw it earlier in this match. The beautiful corner service to Solto at the 21st minute. And he almost gave Corey Herzog his second goal of the evening. And that ball is high in the air by Washington. Thomas with his head, 50-50. Griffith and Washington, and I was pretty sure that ball was over the line, but I was waiting for the AR to throw up his flag. Let's take another look. This is just a pretty ball by Romeo.
Yeah, you can see Herzog arriving. He knows that's a golden opportunity. He puts his hands onto his face. But Pittsburgh look good right now.
Herzog will lay off. Washington will take his time to come over and get this one. Washington, who has done a nice job from that left fullback position tonight. Not only to make sure that Charleston didn't have that many opportunities, but also in moving the ball forward on the offense.
Yeah, when they've been able to find him out on that left side, he's been in tons of space and he's been able to be good with his delivery and has quality on the ball.
And Broom has done a very nice job in the pipes tonight. And another nice punt. I'm telling you, he could play for the Steelers. He could be a combination place kicker punter. Good ball movement by the Battery, and Woodbine has to go backwards to move it forward.
Pittsburgh doing a good job. If you can see, they've dropped all 11 players almost behind the ball when they're out of possession.
Well, with a 2-1 lead at home, opportunity to leapfrog into the 8th position. On the counter, here comes the Hounds.
Big touch there, just overrunning the ball slightly. He just needs to keep his team in possession. He doesn't need to be dribbling through the center of the field in that situation, you know. His team's winning by 1 goal. The last thing they want to do is be turning over possession and defending every time they win possession of the ball right now. So, you know, they just need to play simple, keep the ball moving, and stay tight and compact for the last 15 minutes, and they'll be okay.
Ball gets into the center, but cleared out by that Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh just trying to clear out the garbage right now. Charleston gets it back. Out wide. Anunga goes backwards. Mueller. Ooh, and that back heel flick. Griffith, and that shot from the side, and it's cleared out by Pittsburgh. 50-51 by Woodbine. Settles at the feet of Herzog. Solto. Out wide. Long distance pass. Herzog.
Oh, and that was an unbelievable touch there from Herzog. He meant that the ball's come over his head, and on the volley, he's played it to his teammate. But now we're seeing some changes here from Pittsburgh.
First substitution of the evening, and they'll bring in Hollingsworth. And that will be for Romeo Parks.
Yeah, and Hollingsworth is a midfielder, and Parks has been a forward. So it'll be interesting to see if the coach now goes to a 4-5-1 and goes a little bit more defensive and gives the midfield some reinforcement there by making that change.
Introducing Body by Cochran Collision and Customization. Number 1 Cochran has taken
high into the air, long down the pitch. Tembakis.
And added customization services you won't find anywhere else. Visit bodybycochrane.com today.
Less than 15 minutes in this game. And Charleston find themselves down a goal.
Hollingsworth just a little bit more defensive-minded and will give Pittsburgh a little bit more solidity going into the last 10, 15 minutes of this game.
And like you said, they can play with a 4-5-1. Really clog up opportunities. Griffith with a really nice ball, and he just is past Cordoves. Cordoves with an opportunity to equalize this game. Beautiful pass, but it just couldn't be handled.
That's a fantastic opportunity. Great touch. Fantastic ball across the box. There's nothing more that the forward could have done in that situation. Somebody has to get on the under that and tap it into the back of the net.
Great pass by Guerra, and just Cordoves just couldn't catch up with it. But you see what those fresh legs for Charleston accomplish.
And that's the effect that Guerra's had on the game. He has that quality that can change the game. And it's moments like that that Charleston have been missing so far, and they've got to do a better job of finishing those.
Flick down. Chevy. Centers, nobody home. Knocked away by Mueller. Washington comes up to slow things down momentarily. Late whistle will stop play. That whistle was on Hollingsworth. Charles Murphy says it'll be played from over there. Portillo. Look for him to whip it into the mouth of the 18.
Charleston be sending all their big bodies up for this set piece. He's under-hit that.
Sends it back in. Thomas off his head. Opportunity inside the box. Right into the hands of Broom.
Yeah, and you can see now Charleston are starting to find space in the box. They've had some opportunities now in the past 5 minutes that they should have scored. You know, Pittsburgh really need to stay tight to people. There's too many occasions now where players are free in the box.
Chris, you're a little surprised up a goal and basically just playing to park the bus that Charleston has had so many opportunities to move the ball as freely as they have?
I mean, Charleston are now playing very attacking. It's whether they can be exploited on the counterattack and if Pittsburgh can make the most of those opportunities when they get them. But it's understanding now that the game's opened up a little bit with Charleston chasing. They're definitely gone a lot more attacking in their approach.
I've also been a little surprised that Pittsburgh has been as aggressive as they've been to move in the direction of Tembakis.
Yeah, you know, we've spoken about how they've had a lot of ties, and you know, this test of the next 10 minutes is going to be interesting to see if they've learned how to turn those ties into wins. You know, they're 2-1 up at home. Can they manage to hold on and turn this into a victory?
All right, so Charleston is going to make their third substitution, and Anunga is going to come out, and Higashi is going to come in.
Number 25, Kitaro Higashi, in for number 22.
And that's in the 80th minute. So Pittsburgh up a goal has only made one move. Charleston down a goal has already completed their substitution list. Woodbine sends it forward, and Guerra. Portillo.
Higashi, you can already see, is an attacking player who's finding himself in attacking positions, looking for clever places in between players to pick up the ball.
Good left foot by Griffith. Just a little wider than he wanted it to be, and Broom will send everybody down. Less than 10 minutes to go in this game, and I'm going to play Dave Brandt for a minute. Do you bring in the boss man just to clog things up?
You know, the defense have played pretty well tonight. I think they need a little bit of reassurance in the middle.
Now, this is the third time that Thomas has been spoken to, and I'm surprised that Murphy has not gone to the pocket. And you see Dave Brandt having a conversation saying, hey, we've got a substitution, and this is an interesting one. As Walsh is going to come out, Chevy Walsh is going to come out, and Banjo is going to come in. So Brandt going to his bench, but he's basically taking one striker out and replacing it with another. And with less than 9 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Banjo brings up top. Chevy Walsh had a pretty quiet night, in all honesty. It'd be interesting to see what different dynamic Banjo is able to bring. However,
it was Gomez, and here's the blast from distance. Big save by Tambakis.
It's a big save. Herzog should be in no rush to get this ball back into play. Banjo coming in, however, this season has tallied 2 goals of his 3 starts. So it'd be interesting to see if he can continue that in this game.
Gomez does a nice job of getting it out. And it was Kerr with the big blast. Tambakis.
Kerr making the keeper work there. Tried to place it with his side foot into the corner. Good strike on goal.
We've already seen 2 corners converted into goals tonight. Can we see a third? Not quite.
Again, we've seen good deliveries from set pieces in this game. They've been a constant threat throughout the game.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Nice pass, Kerr. Little give and go. That back heel, Hollingsworth going to have to hustle. Keep it into play. Okai, Kerr, inside the box. And knocked out by Charleston.
And that was good play from Pittsburgh. You know, they had the upper goal. They're in the final third. They're keeping possession. They're not trying to create a wasteless opportunity. But Banjo there needed to do a better job of just getting control of the ball and keeping the team in possession rather than trying the clever flick and giving away the pass to the opposition.
Woodbine, good ball movement by Charleston. Woodbine trying to carry it into the 18. It's headed out by Hollingsworth. Agashi. Little give and go. The shot from distance, back of the net. What an angle. Michael Chang, we're tied at 2 apiece, 84th minute.
Yeah, and you have to feel heartbroken for Pittsburgh there. They've done ever so well in this game, but they just get caught out there with the movement of Charleston in the final third there. They're moving the ball around well. They got caught ball watching. He plays the ball back, gets caught out with the ball in between, but that's a fantastic finish.
Nice job by Chang to turn with this ball. He's playing with his back to the net, turns around and finds the angle. Side netting, 2-2.
When Chang passes that ball back, he's expecting the midfielder to play the ball wide. The midfielder deceives him, plays a clever ball straight back to Chang, and he's able to take a great first touch, which sets him up to bury the ball with his second touch. And it's a fantastic finish, but you have to feel heartbroken for Pittsburgh right now. They've done never so well in this game to concede in the final stages.
Little more than 5 minutes to go, and a few minutes ago we saw Banjo check in for Chevy Walsh. So Pittsburgh still with firepower, scoring power on this pitch, still an opportunity to pull out 3 points.
And that was a big goal for them to concede, because we've spoken about how good they are at being able to tie games. You know, we wanted to see whether they had the resilience to be able to hold on to that goal ahead at home and go on to take 3 points.
Nice back heel pass. Hollingsworth on a flat-out run. That ricochet just couldn't get to Corey Herzog. Fourth goal of the season.
5 minutes remaining now. Both teams have a lot to play for. You know what? Pittsburgh will want to win this game at home in front of their fans. And Charleston, obviously, they want to go for the win also with the changes that they made. They've gone very attacking. They're definitely going for the all-out win.
You see Charleston. They give it up a little bit easier than they would want to. Ball sent forward quickly. Intended for Herzog, just doesn't get there. It's headed over to the keeper by Mueller. Now Thomas.
Yeah, the midfielders have to provide a little bit more quality there with their balls forward. You know, Herzog will work hard and chase it, but he doesn't give him much chance when a ball like that's played in behind it. It's not really a ball that he has a chance of winning.
And on this surface, the ball has been skipping on that first bounce and not biting.
Yeah, it's a difficult surface, but it's the same for both teams. And
absolutely,
they both got to make it work.
Neither team looks like they're going to be satisfied with a point out of this one. Thomas, little give and go.
You can see here, Pittsburgh struggling to fill the gaps, and they're giving Charleston spaces to create scoring opportunities. Look, they're picking up the ball in dangerous positions.
Woodbine.
In space and with time. You know, Charleston are going to make them pay sooner or later, but Pittsburgh have got to get closer to them. Got to get closer to their opponents in the final third.
Solto. Hollingsworth. Nice pulling up the brakes to stay on the ball. Herzog. Kerr sends it in. He was looking for Herzog. It was knocked out by the head of Thomas. Pittsburgh still on the ball.
They just can't keep this ball alive. Keep putting it back into the box.
That's exactly what they do, and Washington will settle this one down. Trying to get past Guerra. And that's headed off by Griffith. So we got the final substitution of the evening, and it's going to be Green for Gomez. And this is in the 88th minute.
Riverhound substitution. Number 8, Michael Green. In for number 38, Shannon Gomez.
So Green for Gomez in the 88th, and another corner coming up for the Riverhounds. Opportunity to strike again and pull out another lead. They go short. Washington lays it off. Kerr inside the box.
Oh,
nice ball.
I think Pittsburgh bringing on Green there just to shore up and bring some reinforcements into the midfield. Green obviously being one of the longest tenured players on the Pittsburgh roster, having been with the team for 6 years already. Bring a bit of steel to that midfield going into the last 5 minutes.
Agassi. So here we go. Herzog. And that was one that he probably wants back.
Yeah, but you can see him, look, it's the 90th minute, and you can see the work rate of Herzog here. Chasing down on the left wing. He's really been working hard for his team tonight.
Cordoves picks up Green as a defender. Dummy pass, but it gets to Hollingsworth. Fans, stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Washington, 90th minute. Kerr. See the sense of urgency that the Riverhounds have. They need to stay on the ball. Hollingsworth. Green. Solto.
Patient build up here from Pittsburgh, but they'll want to get a scoring opportunity on the end of it.
Flicked it forward. Too high for Banjo. Chase down, another ball, and this one is through, and nobody home for Pittsburgh. Griffith, and he'll send it down the pitch. We're going to have 3 minutes of added time for your viewing pleasure as both teams are trying to find the back of the net and find 3 points. Flag is up. Pittsburgh will be the one moving it down.
Yeah, and they'll be grateful for the offside there. They've had a fantastic position. They've had fantastic possession there, Pittsburgh. But they didn't manage to make a scoring opportunity, and Charleston have broke on the counter-attack, and they're lucky that it was called for offside. Otherwise, they could have found themselves defending another attack on goal.
Yellow card coming up. And I think that was for Thomas, and probably as much for what just happened as the buildup throughout the game.
Yellow card has been issued to Charleston Battery's number 6, Skylar Thomas.
So at 90 plus 1, Thomas picks up a yellow. And this will add probably a little bit of time to this game. Kerr with an opportunity to send the ball in the direction of Tambakis to put Pittsburgh up in this game. They have played well enough to earn the 3 points. Can they gut it out? And that is an opportunity that Pittsburgh does not take advantage of.
Yeah, that delivery is a little bit too floated. Easy for the keeper to collect. But you wonder if this is becoming something that plays on the players' minds. You know, they've had so many ties this season. You wonder if it's something psychological now that's causing the players to give it up those final moments when they could potentially take the 3 points.
Definitely a defensive breakdown that ended up in that goal, the 84th minute by Chang. Good ball movement by Pittsburgh until it's cleared out by Charleston.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh just need to be extra careful here not to get caught in the counter-attack. You know, they want to go and get that winning goal, which is good, but just ensure that they're defensively solid enough that they don't get exposed in the counter-attack.
Should be right around the final minute of play. Ball is finally out.
They want to get all the bodies they can back to defend the set piece. They've allowed that ball to go into the forward's feet a little too easy. They want to put pressure on the ball here. They don't want to allow players to be delivering the ball without pressure. And, you know, Pittsburgh just need to give themselves that little bit extra that they need into these last 30 seconds or so in this game.
Broom is going to have to move quickly, send everybody down the pitch. Final push by Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh can get this ball, they can take that last shot, but it is actually Charleston. It looks like they may have the final possession of this match. And that is it. Draw 2-2 in Pittsburgh. Gutsy performance to come back by Charleston and Pittsburgh. Their 8th draw on the season. They had an opportunity through 81 minutes to climb into the 8th spot on the table. They give up a goal late. Michael Chang, 84th minute actually on that goal, and Broom does a good job. Just unfortunate to get the draw. Charleston with an opportunity to go home with a point.
Yeah, and you can see the disappointment on the Pittsburgh players' faces. They look as though they've lost that game, but they've just played against a team that's top of the league for a good reason and got a point. But, you know, you do wonder if psychologically now those players have it in the back of their heads towards the end of games that they're going to tie, and that's having a little knock-on effect to them in the game. But they played very well tonight, and they have a lot of positives to take from the game.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll have highlights and finish things up. Riverhounds 2, Battery 2 from Pittsburgh. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And lots of time searching lots of used car websites. Or just visit Cochran.com to see lots and lots of vehicles.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
Stay low, stay low. Change of speed, explode, explode. Trust it. Very nice, very nice.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with an orthopedic specialist at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
With hundreds and hundreds of pre-owned vehicles for every budget, Number One Cochran is the one and only place you need to shop.
More used cars, more ways to buy them. Shop Cochran.com now.
All right, welcome back to Pittsburgh. It was a 2-2 draw after 90+3. It was a frantic game from end to end, pretty much for the entire match. And Chris, great opportunities early. And that one at the 11-minute mark, Robinson just drills it home with his head.
Yeah, we spoke about set pieces being important through the whole game, and our delivery was good, and they made this one count. You know, there was 4 goals tonight. Definitely the fans were not bored. It was an exciting game.
Another opportunity on a corner, but this time it was Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Parks.
Difficult finish, but he's taking it well.
Yeah, Soto could have done it better if he used the tennis racket. It's 1-1, and that's the way it was when we went to the half. And then Corey Herzog, far post, using the post and great IQ to start up that corner kick. So really, you could almost technically say
that's a very difficult finish. I don't think we'll see a better finish this weekend or this week. Perhaps not for the rest of the season, but that's definitely going to be up there for one of the goals of the season.
And Corey Herzog takes advantage of another corner kick. Pittsburgh up 2-1 after 62 minutes. And then opportunities for Charleston started to mount.
This is where Charleston made their changes, and the substitutions that they made had a big impact on the game. We spoke about Guerrero and how he was one of our players to watch, and he had a big impact when he came on and managed to get his team back into the game.
Tembakis probably with the save of the match. If that one goes in, it's a different game. And then here, the give and go. Chang with his back, turns around, back of the net, actually side net, then back of the net. That was in the 84th minute. 2-2, and that is the way that we would finish this match. Both teams pick up a point. For Pittsburgh, a disappointing point. For Charleston, a well-earned kind of moral victory. Pittsburgh possessed the ball 60% of the time. That dropped down to 52 by the time we were done. All the cards were on Charleston. Shots a little bit more on Charleston. Shots on target, one more than Pittsburgh. No red cards. And the only thing that really matters in this match, Chris, is the fact that it's the goals. 2-2 draw. And again, it is a draw that I think Dave Brandt and his club can build on. Part of that step 2 of that 3-step that they're trying to put together. Mike Anauer knows his club goes home with a point, and that's what you want to do when you're on the road and when you find yourself down by a goal. Pittsburgh still looking to climb back up into the playoff picture. They'll have more opportunities as the season wears on. Final thoughts, Mr. Nurse.
I think Pittsburgh have a lot to build on. You know, they did fantastic for large parts of that game. They led in the game. They just need a slight tweak to be able to turn those ties into wins, and I think we'll see them in the playoff hunt at the end of the season.
Next up for Charleston, they'll go and host Orlando City Saturday night at 7 p.m. And for the Hounds, they'll be in Florida taking on the Rowdies at 7:30. We appreciate you being with us for this USL game. He's Chris Nurse. I'm Bruce Silverman. Nursey, once again, it's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, so from the banks of the Allegheny and all the way to your home, 2 goals for Pittsburgh, 2 goals for Charleston, and that's how we end after 93 minutes. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.